spent my first 15 years trying to get out of the woods because I thought it was horrible. And I spent the next 20 years trying to get back. The truth of the matter is we need to be well-rounded individuals like our forefathers were.
Man, what is up, all of you beautiful folks out there in social media land? Of course, I'm your host, Big T, with Mountain Readiness, coming at you live from the Appalachian Mountain Range. Joe is stuck in traffic, but fear not, because I have this stud muffin right next to me to replace him, Mr. Pete Robertucci.
You know,
Pete,
thanks for having me, man. I know. Listen, if you hadn't have told anybody, they would have just thought they were looking at Joe. I know it. You know, we got the same physique. You know, we're both not even close.
Tan, cut, muscle. I mean, it's uncanny, to be completely honest. It's like,
it is.
down to the voice. The guy.
Everyone. I hear everyone's got a twin. I guess me and Joe Ted-Eye are twins. I guess, at least in my mind.
It right there. I mean, you know, hey, as long as you got to be, confidence is number one key, I think, in life. You have to be confident. You can't so yeah. And you know, tonight, of course, we're at a new time just for tonight, guys. You know, I felt bad about overshadowing the whole Trump Elon Musk thing that's happening at 8. You know, I didn't want to knock their numbers down. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the better man, since they completely shit on Mountain Readiness Mondays with their 8 p.m. Eastern time that they threw out there. You know, and we'll be the better person, and we'll roll at 7, just because that's how we are here. So yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, you guys know why we're on at 7. I mean, them some power hitters. You can it's hard to trump those guys.
Absolutely.
Horrible jokes tonight. Horrible jokes. We got Will in the house, Russ and Teresa. Let's see, Boat Ricks. I'm not sure who it is, but new person. Welcome. Glad you can make it. Sandra, of course, is with us. Guy, Terry, welcome all of y'all. Glad you could come jump in and be part of this. Pete, for all if there is anyone here, I think this is mostly the Eden Army that's on here, to be completely honest. I think everybody knows you, Pete.
No, I think we're starting to make headway, and of course we're streaming also simulcasting on a platform called Kick, and you got Jeff Johnson over there, Christy's over there, so Denise is over there, Angry Mama's over there. We got a whole bunch so we got people tuning in from all over the spectrum, I think, T.
Very cool. I got to get on this Kick thing. And I'm kind of jealous that the Eden Army podcast, your screen is way cooler than mine too. It's like you got all these little bells and whistles going all at the same time. And of course, Russ is with us, and he's back behind the curtain. Russ is basically the Wizard of Oz anymore. The man behind the curtain.
Could we really do this kind of stuff without him? I know I certainly couldn't. I know, and he carries the weight. He keeps me out of trouble most of the time, is what he does. So yeah, thank you, Russ. We appreciate you back there in the background.
And it keeps you out of trouble, except for last Saturday. No more need be said.
Yeah, no comment.
We're getting the thumbs up from backstage from Russ. There we go. Raising the roof. But hey, guys, it's been 2 weeks since we jumped on here. Long overdue. I apologize for last Saturday. To be completely honest, I was exhausted, beat up, beat down. behind. I actually went to Joe's Wetsy course, 3 days of next level awesomeness. I will tell you that, guys, if you want some crazy training, which is what I'm about, then check out Spartan Americana. All right, SpartanAmericana.com. And he puts on these classes, 13,000 square foot CQB shoot house. Place had like over 40 rooms, and they actually laid this stuff out like actual floor plans of houses. So we had like a regular house, then they had a double wide all set up, which I can tell you that double wides where they all join together are difficult to clear. I'm just going to throw that out there. There's about 12 doors all at one spot, from every angle. And that was a mind trip. But yeah, that was what it came down to. I was just beat all up, and the goats needed to be moved and taken care of. And I was behind all weekend. But here we are. Here we are 2 weeks later. So if there is people out here that does not know who Pete Robertucci is, Pete is, of course, retired firefighter, firearms instructor, a man of mystery, an accomplished writer, 3 Days to Eden, the trilogy, and when's the next one coming out? I might as well be like everybody with Chris. When's the next one coming out?
So actually, we are writing a spin-off, and I'm completed with that gun. Well, I told the publisher I'll be done this week with the first book in the spin-off series. So it's happening. It's happening. And the Eden series we're working on Audible. So that just got finished up today. So we're putting a little bit of finishing touches on it. So those of you that don't like to read, like myself, when I'm driving down the road, you'll be able to listen to the entire series on Audible, which is kind of cool.
Audible. I can't bring myself to do it. I feel like I'm cheating. And I get it. You're driving. You shouldn't be holding a novel up, driving down the road.
Yes, right.
But I'm not ready to pull the trigger on Audibles yet. I'm afraid that if I do, though, then that's all I'll be doing is listen to Audibles, and I've got a lot of stuff going on. So, but that's awesome. Now, you will be at Mountain Readiness, and we finally conned you into teaching a class. Finally, we're going to get Pete from behind the booth and out there on the range, out there in the general public, sharing his knowledge and skills. And I believe it's basics for pistol fundamentals is what we're going to do, and dry fire, correct?
100%. Yeah. So we're going to go through the basics of pistols, developed around the NRA course, but with my own spin on it, using some of the Israeli tactics that I've been trained in. So we're definitely going to do that. It might be a little different than what you guys are used to, but I can tell you that the Israelis do stuff differently because they've been fighting for a long time. I'm not saying it's any better or any worse, just another tool for the toolbox, right?
Exactly. And really, I mean, when it comes down to training, yes, there is bad training. All right. We don't want you guys out there racking your Glock off of your flip-flop and flipping it up in the air and something ridiculous like that. But if it's an accomplished instructor and they're safe and they're a solid instructor, I don't think there's such a thing as bad training. I think here's something that I found with just CQB alone. If you're a big dude, which Big Tooch is, so am I, and you're running a 16-inch M4, those doorways are tight. And so tell me if I'm wrong. Coming through there is a different world for the slender dude, which, hey, Seth, I see you out there. Seth was one of the slender dudes. I, however, was not. And pieing through that doorway and moving through there, if you catch it the wrong way, you are eating that M4. The end.
Yeah, I mean, that you learn real quick how to compress your firearm when you're big guys like us trying to get through a 30-inch door, right? I mean, it's just not. Look, I mean, it's not going to work. So you certainly you learn to compress.
So there's and that's that training thing I always like working with tactical rifleman Carl. those guys, that and Joe as well. Joe, the same thing. He's like, this is how I do it. There's many right ways, but this is my way.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's more than one way to get to the finish line when we're doing stuff like that. So absolutely check out different training. What would be the major difference that is there a major difference on the Israeli? Because I have not trained anything when it comes to Israeli.
So the way I train a lot of stuff now, you did your CQB, and we'll do single man CQB, but we practice what we call limited penetration. Okay. Because you're by yourself, you're not stacked up in a team, right? So you can expose yourself to every angle in that room, or they call it the fatal funnel, right? When you get in that doorway,
right?
So the way I teach CQB, especially when it comes to single man, which is terrible to do, but if you have to, is I do a very limited penetration. You don't spend hardly any time inside of that room. I'm looking, I'm peeking, I'm shooting a bad guy, or I'm going to the next bad guy. That's just the way it works. So it's a dynamic method, but it's a little bit different. And there's a lot of Israeli instructors out there that are teaching it a bad way, and they put out videos and they look just ridiculous in their videos. That's not the way we do stuff. So
there was a video out, and I was like, "Is that Pete?" But it actually wasn't. It actually wasn't you. There is quite a few. How many peaks? Are acceptable in the world of CQB, Pete?
Look, here's the deal,
How
man.
many peaks?
Like here, and I've trained with this guy that you're talking about. A super nice guy, and you have to understand everything in totality, right? T. So his method. No. Was active shooter. He's teaching active shooter while the active shooter is engaged, not with you. So that's what his method was teaching. And unfortunately, he shows brand new students trying the technique, and it just looks not so good.
And it's rough.
Whatever.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say though. The peak thing, there's a lot on both sides about that. Even doing one peak, right? They're like, hell no, you don't never do one. Here's where I'm at. Once again, don't knock it till you try it. Joe said he said, I'll stick my head out and take a peek, and I'll give you guys $100 if you can hit me. You can't do it.
Right.
It's too fast. It's too fast, So and the way he did it, I can see how it could be viable for hey, you at least know what you're going into. Yeah, you give them the heads up. No pun intended on that either. But
right.
But that toolbox, nuggets in that tool, the little nuggets of knowledge, right? So, but yeah, Mountain Readiness Fallout course coming up October the 18th through the 20th, guys. We're going to be doing that there at the Van Hoy Family Campground in Harmony. Hope you guys can make it. Pete will be there doing. Are we going to do one a day, Pete? Is that what we were doing?
We'll do whatever you sign. Whatever you sign me up for, that's what I'm doing. No, well, not quite that. Yeah, one a day. And I'd like to, if we could, I'd like to just do like a ladies only class, get them away from their boyfriends, all their husbands that are, they're experts in their own minds. So let's get them away from them and see how they perform. Because I know I can't teach my wife firearms training. Not going to happen. She's not going to listen. And it's just, it's better off just sending her at tactical rifleman or somewhere else because she's not going to listen to me.
That worked out great too with the women's AR class that we did. Here's something else I'm going to throw out to you guys. I am finishing up the video to break it into two parts here very soon, within the next couple of weeks. If you sign up for as a subscriber for Mountain Readiness, we're going to give you access to that content only for people who are subscribers of Mountain Readiness. And on there will be the all women's AR-15 class. If you didn't make it, you can watch it. Still a lot of awesome stuff that you can learn from that. We also have the Redmond Salt, the medicinal clay class that's going to go up on there. We have the Daniel Salatin chicken processing start to finish video. I think that's a couple hours right there of the full from raising to dispatch to processing. And we've got one other one on there. Oh, it was the after hours Q&A that we did, which was pretty interesting. Got into a lot of stuff on that after hours Q&A. So all 4 of those videos will be available to Mountain Readiness subscribers only. And just because, we want you guys to have that content for being part of the team. So I wanted to throw that out there. I'm going to throw that up there. Let's see here. Will, were you present? Yeah, there we go. Sign Pete up for waterboarding. I think he's referring to last May. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
That was you did not.
No, I did not. No, I was in bed when all that was going on.
So it appears that if you bring an inversion table for Chris Weatherman to use for his back, that on the live stream, it will be utilized as, well, it wasn't called waterboarding because they weren't using water. I think they were using like Coke product. I don't know what all they were using. It wasn't water. And so, yeah, I think that is what, let's see, it's not waterboarding if you use diesel. Exactly, Patrick. That is exactly right. No one used diesel. It was something else that they were using. I think it was tea. But yeah, that's what happened right there on the live. Well, Sue got tea in his face with a cloth over it. Chris did. That's the kind of craziness that goes on at Mountain Readiness, guys. So if you're into those after hours extracurricular activities like that. So Pete, tell us about your book series. You also have survival books, some manuals that your book series is a survival book in itself, but you've actually wrote some survival manuals now that are available. Tell everybody about that stuff.
Yeah, so we started a little survival series, and it's really these were SOPs or standard operating guidelines that I had in my mutual assistance group, right? So I took that information I already had for the most part and just went ahead and put them out on Amazon. So we've got one right now, I believe is on water purification. And then, of course, on our website, we do like mandatory minimums for for my group of guys, what are my mandatory minimums you need in your bug out bag? What are my mandatory minimums you need in your IFAC? Okay, you can add more, of course, but if you're going to hang out, if you're going to be a part of our group, our mutual assistance group, you have to have these items or something equal. So I just compiled those and put them together, and those are available on Amazon. Just look up Pete Robertucci, and you'll find my whole collection of stuff.
All kinds of good stuff. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you had some controversial material regarding your IFAC. Was that not? Did I not see that here a while back? Something about you were going to make a lot of people upset. Let's make people upset on here. I did not watch it, Pete. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I did not watch it, but it's way better if I hear you say it in person like this.
So here's the deal. I've been a fire medic for a long time. And I don't know if you know about fire departments, but they don't buy the best materials. They buy the lowest bidder. And I started talking about tourniquets. Now, with that being said, tourniquets are a life-saving device. If you can afford a go-to-hell tourniquet, by all means, buy a go-to-hell tourniquet. Buy the expensive one, 100%. But if you can't afford an expensive one, buy a cheap one. Buy a cheap one. Buy something. Look, we've been tying stuff up with belts and string and sticks for a long time, and they've been working. But with that being said, I went through 15 years of being a medic, and I've treated a lot of gunshot wounds. I've treated a lot of stuff with these cheap Chinese tourniquets, and I've never had one fail on me.
You never broke one.
Never broke one.
So you're saying Cat 7, of course, if you can afford that Cat 7.
Yes, 100%. If you can afford it. But look, don't not have one just because you can't afford it. Buy something. Okay. That was the controversy that got me hated by the internet medics of the world. So
blew up.
Yeah, they did not like that. And just some of these pre-manufactured IFAC kits that all parts and pieces don't fit everybody. Now, if you put an NP in somebody, that's the thing you put in your nose to help somebody breathe. Those are different sizes. I'm going to take one that's a different size than my daughter, right? So when I get when someone gives me a 28 French NP in my IFAC, and I try to stick that on my daughter, guess what? She's going to be like, nah, not going to happen. Okay, it's not going to go in. I don't care how much lube you put on it. It's not going in there. It's not happening. So I touched upon some stuff like that, and boy, they don't like me anymore.
Well, and that, I think when it comes to anything on the internet, you just can't make everybody happy. Somebody gonna get mad and hate on you. I make these posts and I share posts. It's part of it. I share posts to all kinds of different social media platforms, and I swear there's always that one guy. Why are you spamming us? Why you put this on here? It'd be like, it literally says uncensored, off-grid survival, post whatever you want. I'll put it on there, and they'd be like, why are you spamming? I used to get into the arguments, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start blocking these people. And that's what I do. I'm all about a civilized discussion, if that even exists really anymore, especially with those type of people. But I will say that it's just not worth my breath anymore. I think I only have so many breaths in my life that I've got left, and I'm not willing to give any of them up for idiots like that.
You're a better man than I am, because they get me. They sucker me down into that rabbit hole, and I just lose my mind. But I'm learning a few things. Weatherman told me Weatherman and Horton. They told me stop reading reviews. It's not going to help you reading your book reviews. Don't do it. And I was getting away from that a little bit, but I can't help myself, man. I can't. I don't know what it is.
I have the same issue. I've just, but here in this past, actually, it's just been the past few months. I was like, you know what? I got way too much stuff to do today to engage with this idiot who claims to be a homesteader and doesn't believe that you should own a firearm because that's against homesteading. I'm like, I just don't have it. I don't have it in me. I don't have the time, the patience. And I end up wanting to go through there and just strangle that guy out, before it's all said. So, no, I just got to leave it at what it is. Let's see. What Patrick said, gear snobs are the worst and the most likely to not use their fancy gear. Amen to that. There's something to be said. And that's it. I have zero. I put a tourniquet on once, and I did 5.5 years with the fire department, but half the time the medics were already there with us, so that wasn't any. We didn't have to throw tourniquets on. But I have no way of saying either way. I've not had, just practicing. I've not had any of the cheap stuff break. Not to say that it won't, but I guess what you're saying, a cheap one is better than pulling your belt off and trying to make that into a tourniquet, right?
That's the point I was trying to make. Don't let the cost of some of this stuff stop you from not having something, right? I mean, I get it. And Jeff mentioned over on Kick, he said he bought a lot of that cheaper stuff, and then as he could afford it, he just upgraded. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong.
Switch it out. Yeah. Or, here's something that everybody forgets about. So I may be a little bit of a gear queer. There you go. I said it. It's hard for me. I love gear. I have gear laying all over the place. I'm like, do I really need 4 plate carriers? Well, the other 3 aren't this color. This one is Coyote, and the other one's Digitech, and the other one's Woodland. I have to have all these things. So if you can do it, right?
Right, exactly.
But as you rotate out your quality gear, because what is the number one rule of the fire department or LEO as well? What is rule number 1, Pete?
It's life safety, right? I mean, is that what you're talking about?
Self-preservation, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Self-preservation. You don't run into a fire. Doesn't matter what you hear in there unless you know you can at least a good chance of getting out. If it's completely engulfed in flames, don't be the hero. You being dead doesn't equate, right?
Yes. So we got a saying. What we stuck in my mind in fire school: we risk a lot to save a lot, right?
Yeah.
So if it's a fully involved structure, I know everybody's out. I'm not going to risk my tail end to save somebody's house. Sorry, it's not going to happen. It's just not. But if there's a kid crying inside and I think I can get to them, then you risk a lot to save a lot. That was my motto that I always lived by.
So all of that gear that you start switching out, I've started utilizing, and yes, you're taking up real estate. There's something to be said about real estate, but I throw it on my back. That's my buddy. That's my buddy pack right there. On the back of my my gear, I have a little IFAC for my buddy. Same thing. Maybe you drop you a mag back there. That your buddy takes a spill. He drops all this crap. Can do the same thing with the cheap tourniquets. You upgrade. You get you a nice Cat 7. Throw that on the front because it's all about self-preservation. Got to make sure that you don't die, and then the rest of it, start throwing it in the back, or put it together for your friends. That was something guys were like, well, I already have an IFAC. I'm gonna, hey, to me, there's no such thing as too much gear. Especially when it comes to medical supply, stuff like that. I figure I'm going to have friends if something goes terribly wrong that maybe didn't have the money to get gear like this.
Right.
And so, right.
Well, and the thing about it is, and I had this discussion with my wife when I had a few extra, what we'll call them freedom seed dispensers in the gun cabinet. I tried to tell her, listen, if my guys are 50 miles away from their house, I don't want them to go to their house, get their kit, and then come to the bug out location, right? Let's get everything. The manpower is more important than anything else. I can't watch my back 24 hours a day. So if it's a difference between somebody going back to their house, grabbing their stuff, and then maybe not making it back just come to my place. I got everything you need. Okay.
There you have it.
That's my thought process.
Yeah. No matter what the emergency is, shit hit the fan, bad weather. You guys, the Florida people have experienced some of that with the hurricanes that just went through. Going outside the wire is the worst thing you can do. You're setting yourself up for a bad time, for failure. Don't set yourself up for failure. So no, I agree completely. That's an awesome thing to do. Having that extra gear for your friends, you just never know. And doing CQB this last Saturday, before Saturday, all by your lonesome CQB is dangerous. It's necessary to know it, but if you got a friend, it sure does make a big difference.
Yep. And that's why I tell everybody, CQB, single man, worst case scenario. Don't do it if you don't have to. Stay in your room, wait for someone to come in, and then you've got the advantage. Single man CQB it's horrendous. There's no good way to do it. But you take certain aspects of different techniques, and you'll find that you're able to mitigate some of the dangers that are involved in single man CQB. So maybe that's what we'll try to teach over there at Mountain Readiness and Fallout. We'll put up a couple of walls and we'll just give somebody a quick demonstration also.
I agree. That'd be great. And and it is. It's necessary to know. Is that the prime way to roll? No. But it is one of those necessary things. Luckily, my wife is a CQB hero. She's got way more experience than I do. And she actually volunteered for that stuff. She loves it. She's like, she wanted to be right up front kicking doors. So, but that doesn't work all the time. So, if your significant other can help you, but that's another thing is maybe you can do a little training with couples, just like we had talked about doing here a while back at one of the other events. Do some husband-wife team. What about something like that? How about some husband-wife team stuff, Pete?
I have the curriculum for all of it. We can do whatever tickles your fancy down there. So I'm in.
Single man and a little husband-wife team, and then we'll break the wives away from the man, and so we can direct a little focus there. But let's see, where was I going with this? The acronym PACE. All of y'all out there in the social media land, is everybody familiar with PACE? Which I was just schooled by Pete that this acronym originally was with comms, right? So PACE being primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency plan 4 layers of preparedness overlapping one another, which I am not even close to having that many layers of depth in my preps, to be completely honest. Not even remotely. So, guys, what's your primary? Oh man, look at this. The Pace Plan System Express. Look at that, man. You guys, I need to bring you on here more often, Pete. Or did was that you or was that Russ in the background?
We'll give that one to Russ.
That's Russ. Man, he broke it all the way down here. That was even better than what I did. Here, go ahead. Run the show, Pete. Take it from here.
But the good thing is, and T, like you were saying earlier, the good thing is, yeah, this was originally set up for a comms, right? But why not apply that to your other preps? Why not?
Yeah.
This makes good sense.
Well, absolutely. And so I got to thinking about this. I was watching, it was actually the gray-bearded Green Beret touched on this. He kind of went down through the whole line about, these layers. And primary, of course, if you can, guys, it's you bug in. You don't hit the road. That to me is my primary plan. You bug in, you have all your stuff right here. Maybe your friends are here, your friends are around you, you've got all that support, you've got all that kind of stuff. But you have to think, with the crazy stuff that goes on in the world, what happens if my bug in turns into my house burns down, right? Now what? That would be horrible right there. You've lost most of your preps, your house is burned, everything is a shamble. Now, if we don't have that alternate, then we're shot in the foot. We're shot in the foot. Now we're out in the cold. We have no preps. We have nothing. And so that alternate to me is going to be super important. We've got to dial that in for worst case scenario. How would you run that? What would you do from there, Pete?
As far as something like, so here's the thing, and those guys at Gray Zone, is it Gray Zone, Will, and those guys, they talk about an area assessment, but I take that area assessment from right there in my homestead, right there. First of all, is my homestead a viable defensive position? Now, knowing things the way I do, I know that mine is not. It's just not. Okay, I gotta come to that realization. So my primary goal for a minor event, 3 weeks, hurricane, whatever, I'm going to shelter in place. Sure, why not? But as soon as I realize that that crap has hit the fan, then I need to go to my alternate plan, which is my bug out location, which is and that's ideally is where the rest of your team should be, right? But that's the way I look at as far as bugging in. If you got a house with maybe it's a log cabin, it's got big old logs in it, and they could stop whatever bullets or whatever, certainly that's a defendable position. My Florida cracker house, not going to be that position, so I had to make other arrangements.
Right. And then, of course, the contingency plan is maybe you're bugged out. You're getting to that second place, and something happens along the way. Now we got another layer to it. It's just the prepping thing never ends. It's just layer on top of layer on top of layer on top of layer. What if, maybes? I'll tell you something that we're doing at Mountain Readiness that I am super excited about is Wes Hightower with Ford Observer Gray Zone Activity is going to be doing a class on caches. So, which is cool because look here, guys, there's more to just throwing something in a box and throwing it down into the dirt and covering it up. Way more. I actually made a couple boo-boos myself on this. And, you have to take in consideration the depth. Is it above the frost line? Is it below the frost line? What are the contents? Because that creates moisture. What type of material are you using to build your cache? How long is it going to be there? Down to organization and keeping a list of all this kind of stuff and it not getting out, so that you can keep track of it. So that's going to be a class that Wes is going to do that I'm super excited about to be able. And a lot of people don't know Wes, of course, Green Beret, just about ready to retire, and he is. That's what he did. Was part of his job was finding and analyzing caches. So, which is pretty awesome to say the least. Yeah, expert. I'm going to call him an expert because that's what he did for a living. But it would be good. Part of that contingency would be throwing caches along the way, just in case, right?
Sure, absolutely. Or maybe your bug out location isn't viable. Do you have a tertiary spot? You know what I mean? It's just, and then do you have enough resources to get to that spot? And that's where the caches come into place. Certainly, 100%. And you say you don't want to bury stuff. I understand people not wanting to bury stuff. If you have the extra money, rent you a little storage locker in between your bug out locations to make sure you got a pair of bolt cutters in case something goes bad, and stage storage lockers. A good friend of mine, Franklin Horton, who'll be at Mountain Readiness, he wrote the Locker 9 series, and that's basically the premise behind that book in particular. So, but you also touched on something else, that organizing your list of what's where is it at, how old is it, list. And on my computer, and I have hard copies, as I named my stuff the Locker 9 materials, and paying a little homage to Franklin. And I have Locker 9, this city, what's in it, how long has it been there, do I need to go rotate the gasoline, what do I need to do? So that it just organization helps a little bit.
Huge. Speaking of caches, I got a little bit of gear here. Now this here, check this out, Pete. What do you think about this dude right here? So this is a Gamma. This is the big Gamma. All right. This thing here, this is BPA free. It's got the Gamma seal on top of it. Right. Thing unscrews, airtight, waterproof, the whole bit. Has the seal, rubber seal around the ring, and we have the smaller ones that it's a bucket lid. You can just 55-gallon buckets, and you can just pop that on, and then that Gamma lid unscrews on and off. So it's called a Gamma lid, and I highly recommend them on Amazon. They're not the cheapest, but they are. They're not horrible either, and especially if you're into food storage, you can get you. We talked about it quite a few times on here. 5-gallon food grade buckets, and you can get these Gamma lids, snap them on. These things spin off, but this one here we actually got through PetSmart, and it will hold a 55-pound bag of dog food.
Wow.
Like, this thing's huge, dude. Look at the size. And they interlock, stack on top of each other. So, guys, check out PetSmart. They put them on sale now and again for about $35. Chewy, my bad. Chewy.com. I heard Amber yelling in the background because I didn't say it right. She keeps up with all these dog sites, and, because our pets are like royalty. But Chewy.com, you can get these things for like $35 when they're on sale. And for me, man, you can fit a lot of stuff in a waterproof container like this that you can't buy PVC that big and glue it all together yourself. If you do, it'll cost you way more than $35. Yep. So I thought that was a pretty awesome thing to have laying around the house. How are you on food preservation? Do you do the buckets, Pete, or do you run a different direction?
No, I don't do the bulk buckets, though, because more than likely I'm never going to open up a 50-pound bag of rice, right? I take them, my rice, and I mylar, and then I put them in a bucket, much like you have there. I know it's a little bit of redundancy, but look, food costs a lot of money. You don't want it going bad. But what I like about that, T, is I can store that at my house, and in a matter of minutes, we can get an assembly line, load them onto the trailer, and we're heading to the bug out location, right? So I'm not carrying big old garbage. Yeah, I'm not carrying big old garbage cans or anything like that. I stack those up. I got them labeled. What I do is I go ahead and laminate, take a laminate, sheet of paper, mark exactly what's inside there. I put it in the bucket too, and then I number my buckets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go, and so on and so forth. And then that way you load them up, you go, you throw them on an open trailer. You don't have to worry about a closed trailer, and just go, get gone. Love it. Love it.
A friend of mine who is currently building a bug out trailer. He's got him a 16-foot trailer, and he's putting solar. He's got solar in this thing, comms. And that way, if he has to hit the road, whether it be worst case scenario, bad weather, whatever it is, he's got everything already set up. Same thing. He's got a lot of these buckets like this, places to put them to where they lock all down to where they don't fall over all over the place. Great idea. I thought it was an awesome idea. And that way you're not toting it around with you all the time. If you have the money, I mean, sky's the limit. But, you can buy a little, 12-foot trailer for under $1,000 anymore. I mean, I've done it. I bought them, and I was like, man, that's a great idea. Just throw yourself together a little bug out trailer that, or just use it for camping, whatever. It's multi-purpose at that point. But man, hi from North Idaho. Nothing wrong with that. Look at that. ID Prepper Gal. Howdy to you. Thanks for joining us. I guarantee you she's not super warm like it is here in North Carolina. Or it could be. I know I was up in Coeur d'Alene. It gets a little warm up there. But let's see what's Patrick saying here. He says you need to label the buckets 1, 2, 3, and 5 so it keeps them. Yeah, I agree. Sure. And then Larry even said too, he picked up some Gamma lids. Awesome, guys. Keep working on those preps. A couple bucks here and there, a little bit at a time. Heidi Prepper Gal said it's 83 degrees this afternoon. So not all of Idaho is cold. Before we talk about any more gear, of course, guys, Pete will be doing some classes at Mountain Readiness. He'll be selling his awesome books and merchandise, which, by the way, I'll look at it just for you.
Oh,
Pete.
nice.
Just for you. Just for you. I wore that. Since I didn't show up for the picture where I was supposed to wear it last May, I'm wearing it tonight just for you.
Outstanding.
But afterwards, on the 21st and the 22nd, Pete, how many spots do you still have open?
4. We got 4 spots open.
4 spots open, guys. Pete is going to be doing a class at Troy's Gate. He's going to be doing a day of pistol on the range, followed by a full day of Troy's Gate. This is next level training, guys. Knock your socks off. You can't get training like this anywhere else in the whole world except for right here in good old North Carolina with Randy. So let's pop that up and let's check out. Here is Pete running through one of the scenarios at Troy's Gate. Check it out, guys. Remember, he's got 4 more spots. Once these are full, it's a full class. There ain't no more available at this time. So here we go.
Wow.
And there we have it. Pete,
I wish that video can convey exactly what's going on. I can't show you what's happening on the other side just because it'll give away the scenario a little bit. But your adrenaline will be so. Look, here's the deal. After you get done with each scenario, you have to go sit down and debrief.
Yeah.
get it all back down and get to relaxing and stuff like that. So, and it's great that I went through that class because I geared that first day, getting your mindset and then getting the basic pistols, the stuff you need for basic pistol to get through the class. So I'm able to kind of design that to get through that. Because let me tell you this, you can shoot paper targets all day long, but when there's a guy on the other end yelling at you and calling you everything but an American, you think a little bit differently.
In other words, he calls you a Democrat. That's what he does. That's what he's doing in the background. And there ain't nothing make you more mad other than putting electric goat fencing up. That makes you pretty mad too. Jeremy Hale, what's up, man? There's no such thing as being late. You just you had other things to do. So but let's see, ID Prepper, she said, yeah, absolutely. Go to estate sales. Amazing what you can find. Prepping. Heck yes. So guys, Troy's Gate, and I've talked to Seth. Seth was in the class with me there this last weekend, and we had a great time, man. We had a blast. But there is something when we talked about Troy's Gate. I talked about Troy's Gate with the guys there at the class a lot because there's not a bunch out there on the internet about this place, guys, because it just started really letting civilians take part in this training. This training was geared for 3-letter alphabets and SF and MARSOC and CAG and all these groups to get the train from the shoulders up, right? How do you train your mind to be prepared for violence like that? And that's what Troy's Gate does. So I'm not even going to say any more about it because nothing we can say, just like you said, Peter, there's nothing that we could say to really describe what you will experience at the Troy's Gate facility without you experiencing it for yourself. There's just no way to explain it. And so 4 spots left. Jump up there. Did you drop that link for the class, Russ? I thought I saw it earlier.
Yeah, just
folks that are
contact me direct. Mm-hmm. And then we'll get you signed up.
Awesome price. 2 days of training, next level training. Can't get anywhere else in the world. So don't miss that, guys. And you make a week of it. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Come hang out at Mountain Readiness. Your ticket gets you. It's all inclusive. You get all the classes. We're going to have some really good classes going on for this fall. Plus, it's the fall in North Carolina. I mean, it's gorgeous. The weather's perfect. The campground, 106 acres, plenty of room to stretch, to breathe. We'll have food. We'll have games. We'll have campfires. We'll have waterboarding, possibly. Just depends on if it ends up like last May. We'll see what happens. But gear as well. Here's something. Check this out, Pete. See what you think about this. So this right here is it's made by Summing, Suming. This little dude here was only about, I think, $18 on Amazon. It's a plastic trough that is made to sit on your nightstand so that your pistola indexes sets here, pistol, the handle up, and then you can fit 3 mags indexed right next to it. Beautiful. So I am horrible about sticking my piece on my nightstand, and then depending on, I'm one of those, I don't know about you, Pete, but I flail all over the place, arms. I even knocked stuff off of my end table. It's shameful. It's shameful. And so, last thing I want to do is accidentally knock it even to the other side to where I think it's right next to me, but it's not. So this right here even comes with little sticky adhesive stuff here. And you can put it on the bottom and stick it right down on your end table and have that thing indexed right there to when your hand reaches over, your pistol is setting right ready for your hand to grab onto it. I thought it was pretty awesome for $20.
Yeah, love it. And so simple. And it's something we don't think of. Why didn't we invent that, T?
I have no idea. That's why I'm middle class. That's why I'm a middle class blue collar guy and not filthy rich, because I didn't come up with that. But yeah, guys, I thought that was awesome. This is let's see if I can just throw that where you can see that. That's the brand. Check it out. It's very well built. Looks like it'll hold up for what I need it to do. I also have metal. I have metal end tables, and so I'm going to put some of that those magnetic tape on the bottom of it. That's way it'll stick, and I can just kind of move it around. But that was some pretty cool gear. And lastly, I'll show. Have you ever heard of Savior Gear, Pete?
I have, yes.
Savior Equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kept up with these guys, and just for full transparency, guys, I get nothing out of this. This is literally stuff that I bought because I wanted it, and they ain't giving me a kickback. If there's anybody out there that's from Savior that wants to throw me a bone, though, I will gladly take it. But this is just because I wanted this stuff. And this here, so I was told that I had a problem, Pete. What do you keep your primary and your pistol and everything bedside?
I don't keep my rifle bedside. I do not. I'm not going to even lie to you, but I certainly no. I just have my pistol near the bedside, so hopefully I can get to my primary. That's my mindset there.
So this is right back to that pace, right? Primary, right, all the way down to. So this here, check this out, guys. I thought this was pretty awesome. So this is a 3 rifle wall mount, because I was told I have issues because I keep my pistol, plus I keep a shotty, because sometimes you need a shotgun. And then I keep my 5.56 because that's my primary. And then sometimes maybe there's a Tavor up there or whatever. I like an empty space just for something else, But this here, for like $35, I think it was $70. I got 2 of these, one for my side to replace what I've already the crap I've got there. This thing sits here, and not only can you fit 3 rifles in it, it indexes. So if I want it to aim towards my bed, or I want it straight out, or I want it to tilt the other direction, I thought for $35, man, you can't go wrong with that. Super sturdy. Yeah, super sturdy. For all you people who think you need 4 firearms next to your bedside, here you go. There's 3 plus the pistol. And I know people was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting off this channel. This guy is a nutcase. I like options. I don't know about you. I like options. I'd be like, I'm feeling 12 gauge this morning, or I'm feeling, or maybe it's an M4 kind of night. Sometimes you need options. Like, it's like shoes to me. Knives and pistols and rifles, they're accessories. I like to accessorize. Sometimes I want them to match my shirt, match my pants, and they're Homestead Medical. Hey guys, we got Chuck with Homestead Medical. Chuck Peoples is going to be there at Fallout as well. Do you know Chuck, Pete?
I don't think we met. I'm so bad. I don't leave my dang table at these things, and I need to go learn some stuff and meet. We have a mutual friend, Holly, who tells me, go meet everybody, get their name, get their number. They'll be on your podcast. I can't. I just don't do it. I sit behind my desk and I sign books, and I'm terrible. I'm the worst. I'm the worst marketer ever.
That's why I had to get you outside the box, Pete. That's why I was like, hey, Pete, you know what? You need to get away from that table and do something outside of that little cubicle. You got to get outside the cubicle a little bit. That's it. Yeah. The thumbs up from Russ backstage as well.
And it really wasn't even a question. It wasn't even a question. He's just like, hey, you're going to teach classes this next go around. I go, okay.
Well, no, I presented it as a question, kind of. I was like, hey, Pete, have you ever considered doing a class like at Fallout, like I want you to do, that you're scheduled twice a day, Friday, Saturday, and 1 on Sunday? And he's like, yeah, I guess I could do that. Perfect. All right, good. All right, good. I found something about being a boss, man. I was a supervisor, regional operations director, all the foremen. And there was one thing that I found early on in life when it comes to being a boss man and being a good boss man is you never, ever, ever ask somebody to do something. Because if you give them the option, a lot of times they'll just say no. So I found the best case scenario is you politely tell them what they're going to do.
Right.
And
Then you
true,
make it.
works.
Then you make them think it was their idea, and then they're game on. They're
And it's a win-win. It's a win-win. So that's what we did there. But no, Homestead Medical. Chuck Peoples runs Homestead Medical. Great operation. He's done a lot of stuff overseas. He's going to be teaching wound treatment and advanced wound treatment and equipment to use. So there's a part of preps that you can't have enough experience and knowledge and material when it comes to medical, because that's going to be something I think that we were all, no matter what it is, grid down, emergencies, you run up on a car accident, you got to have that medical training. I am definitely needed. So I'm going to try to filter into some of these classes as well, because usually I'm emptying garbage and cleaning toilets and stuff like that. We're going to try to jump outside the box myself. I'm the same way, Pete. I just give you shit, but really, you sat behind the desk and signed books. I scrub toilets. I need to do the same thing. Do the same thing. So now, going to be fun. Do we have any questions or anything, Russ, that was popped up in this whole thing? I don't think we did. It's just been one of those running each other's mouths. I think we had some starred comments. I don't really see any. Not sure. But guys, it was good hanging out. We're getting close to the end. Pete, what do you want to close us out with? What about UK? What about UK and social media? We didn't talk about that. What a train wreck.
And here's the deal with the UK. And for those of you that are not following with the news, is basically what the UK has gone ahead and said. They said, listen, if you post something bad about us, we're going to extradite you no matter where you're from. And that normally I would say to myself, yeah, okay, whatever. But with this current administration that we had, and God forbid if the next if it keeps on for another 4 years, there's no doubt in my mind that these people would extradite me. Now, if you get the other side and they get the warrant to come arrest Pete, I have faith that my government would say, no, that's not going to happen. But with this current administration, yeah, it could happen. It really could.
Can you imagine putting, I'm telling you right now, Pete, we're all going to the UK if the administration that we don't want gets in. We're all taking a trip.
Yep.
This whole network here. I've always wanted to see. I don't know if Gray Bar Hotel is really the way to go about it, but take it out you can get it. Right. We all have our cross the barrier. That'd be mine. I'm going to the United Kingdom. I'm going to go over there, and because I'm just not going to stop. I can't do it. Hey, look here, United Kingdom, suck it. Is what it is.
Yeah.
Not giving it.
Come get me. Come get me.
But for all you guys, I just watched a video today. Let's see here. Tia's going to sing at Fallout. Maybe. Depends on how big the Whiskey River is. It's possible. If it was like last Saturday that you guys experienced, it's possible that I could sing. I may even tap dance at that point.
For those of you that don't know, T does a better Bon Jovi than Bon Jovi does. I'm just going to put that out there right now. I'm just going to put it out there.
That's too far with it.
I have video to prove it. Let me say that.
Just keep that on the load. How much to delete it? Just delete it out. I used to have the hair, up until a couple of years ago, my hair was down to my waist, all the way down to my waist. So had the flowing mane, all that kind of stuff. Insanity. But guys, it's been an hour running our yaps, mainly me running my yap. But it was good to catch up with all you guys out there. All these familiar faces, some that are not familiar. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all those things so that the algorithm gods show favor upon us, and do the same for Mr. Pete Robertucci over there at the Eden Army. And check his books out on Amazon, on It was Pete Robert too. What was your email again? He just popped it up there. It's gone. Horrible.
P Robert Tucci at yahoo.com. Yeah. Come get some training or just shoot me an email. Tell me how you hate my books, like my books, whatever. I'm pretty good about that stuff.
Get him all fired, get him all spun up. Get him all spun up because he's already admitted that it gets under his skin. I wonder, can I delete, if I do a review, can I delete that review, or is once it's on there forever?
It's there. It's there until
Okay.
Look, once something goes on the internet, it's there forever.
I was like, man, if I could delete it afterwards, I'd get on there and, throw some really messed up crap on there and be like, hey, what'd you think about that review there, Pete? Now, Terry, thanks. Good part. Appreciate you for hanging out, telling us that we did a good job. Sometimes we just stumble through it, but hopefully we helped a few people out. And remember to get with Pete. Class is coming right after Fallout, October the 18th through the 20th. Get on mountainreadiness.com. Get your tickets. It's going to be an awesome time. And remember, Stump Knockers, because I'm not on top of Stump Knockers now because we did the 7 o'clock. Jump over there. That's happening there. Stump Knockers to test those comms, which I have not gotten myself to the point of where I need to be on that either. Pete, roll us out of here, man. What you going to want to end it with?
Guys, get training. It doesn't have to be with me. Any training is good training. So get out there and maybe instead of spending $1,500, $1,800 on a brand new AR, how about dusting that old one you have off and get some training? It'd be well worth your while. I promise you that.
Amen. Amen. There you have it. Straight from the Tucci's mouth. Get training. Come October, get training. Stay, get some more training. And remember, if you're going to move with purpose. We'll see you guys next Monday.